Welcome to the Space Out podcast, where we chill out, chat about, and space out. I'm your host, Luca, a.k.a. LucaTony, and today we're going to be stepping back even further than last week, and we're going to chill out, some may say space out, and talk about ourselves. Well, not ourselves, since I'm the only one recording this podcast right now, but what we're going to be doing is some mental health check. The past few months could have been extremely stressful for you due to many situations the world has been going through, such as COVID, Black Lives Matter protests, Hong Kong protests, even stuff like online classes and exams, and for me, signing up for my classes for fall 2020. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to take time out of the length of this episode to relax, talk about some nice things going on right now in the world, and try to put a positive spin, maybe a little more, of a positive light this week on the incredible situation that the world is in right now. So, firstly, let's take a moment to breathe. Breathe deeply in through your nose, hold your breath for a bit, and exhale it through your mouth. Do it right now with me. Do that until you feel calm. You can pause the podcast if you want to breathe for longer, but I will be moving on as I did this exercise myself before starting in order to be calm while recording the podcast. If right now you feel stressed out, you feel anxious from the social isolation you might be having due to COVID social distancing / staying in your house, I want you to try and focus on the good things you have right now. Maybe COVID hasn't impacted your work that harshly. Maybe you still have time to speak to your family and friends regularly. Maybe you still manage to see face-to-face with other people while also staying safe with COVID. Whatever it is, focus on those little things that make your everyday just a little bit better, even if it is something like the ability to sleep in because your work is online now, and appreciate them. Don't take them for granted, because those things are what will make us feel a lot more happy at the end of the day. I want to remind you also that no matter how harsh the world might seem right now, how bad things might look, your life is worth living. And there will be an end to everything happening in the world right now, just like there was an end to horrible things that have happened before in our life and in human history. It will come to an end. We just don't know yet, but we know it will. So, you've already won many fights before, so don't let yourself lose this one. With that out of the way, let's talk about some good things that are happening right now amidst all the bad. We're gonna do some somewhat rapid fire type of things, because there's actually a good amount of good things that are happening right now. It's just that the social media and news cycle usually focuses on negative things. So, first of all, the BLM movement that started all the way back at the end of May, and not only is it still going, and there are still protests that advocate for Black Lives Matter, which is very important, but it's also bringing about real change. There has been police reform and defunding the police already announced and being planned as we speak. New York is currently defunding the police, and Minnesota, where the Black Lives movement started because of the kneeling and all of those things, is currently going through a police reform and are looking towards community-led security options. So we still don't know what those might look like completely yet, but keep protesting, keep the movement alive, because it is making a solid impact, a visible impact in our world. Secondly, there has been a massive cleanse of abusers in online community, and while it sounds stressing, and for someone in communities that have had that cleansing, it was a little bit intense for me at first. It's a good thing in the long run for these communities, because not only do we condemn this behavior that was hidden for so long, but we also remove the stigma of talking about it and make just online communities and communities in general a lot more safe and a lot more fitting for what they have. Like the Smash Brothers community, which I've mentioned in a previous episode, I'm pretty sure, that has, it's centered around a game made for kids at the end of the day. And they had a lot of abusers and pedophiles and the things of that matter. But most, if not all, it seems, have been outed and have been, either properly taken care of or have at least left the community. So, and they don't have any social media presence at all, so they've lost their jobs and things of that matter for horrible things they've done in the past. So there is a positive side to a lot of things happening in the world right now. Also, the third thing is we seem to be getting somewhat close to a viable vaccine for COVID, and there are efforts already in using plasma from recovered COVID patients to help people in critical condition gain antibodies, which was something that I never thought was going to occur that fast, the vaccine, because usually the vaccine takes a lot of checks and a lot of months of testing. So seeing a solution and a vaccine occur at such a rapid pace really shows how doctors and scientists all over the world have really come together to help us solve, the horrible situation we live in. There's also things that I've heard that they inject antibodies onto horses, and they use the plasma from them because they produce very strong antibodies that are compatible with humans. And countries like Costa Rica, which I'm living in right now, are currently pushing hard on that, and we might have a lot more antibodies soon enough. So, there's good things for COVID news. There's also been a massive wave of pet adoption, myself included. I've also adopted a pet, giving homes to previously abandoned pets, and it's just great because pets don't deserve being left in the streets to basically to die. So it is very nice that a lot of people have sort of stepped up to the plate, even with the horrible situation that the world is in right now, to not just help other people and other humans, but help other pets, other species, other animals by, giving pets a home. And if you haven't adopted a pet that has been recently left, in the streets or, in an adoption center, consider it. Because not only might you make their life a lot better, you might also make your life a little better and a little more happy, as my own pet has done to me. Second to last, nature is healing. There have been things happening in the world that made it abundantly clear that we as humans need to give nature more importance and, coexisting with our planet, such as dolphins returning to Venice, which is just absolutely absurd to me. I've never heard of anything close to that. And the last thing is that Australian bushfires have died down around April, and Australia is both healing in terms of its ecosystem, and scientists and doctors and climate scientists are preparing for the next season in order to ensure that something of the magnitude that the Australian bushfires of this year won't happen again and won't put more animal species and people's homes in danger. So there has been a positive set of outcomes that have come from the horrible things that have happened this year. What things have happened to me? What good things have happened to me? Because it is both important to look at good things that have happened to humanity and the planet as a whole, but sometimes it's okay to just, focus on yourself and look at yourself and how you have improved and how you feel. Because we tend to be harsher on ourselves than we are on other people. It's just something that is scientifically proven. So it's good to sometimes reflect on how you feel and what good things that have happened to you, so you appreciate your life a little bit more. You know what I mean? While I say these good things that happened to me, I also want you to think about good things that have happened to you. And maybe write them down so you know. So you can look back on it every day that you might not have a great day, and be able to sort of reflect positively on what is going on in your life. So, firstly, I started playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm a gamer, right? My hobby is playing video games, recording, creating content around video games. And I started playing a game called Ghost of Tsushima that is centered around a samurai that is trying to fight off the Mongol invasion from like old Japanese times, very long time ago. And it's just absolutely incredible. I'm having an absolute blast. It's such a beautiful game. There's tons of screenshots I have that I want to post on Twitter. That is just, the game is just awesome. It's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's such a perfect encapsulation of the past few years of gaming, and it's done so perfectly that it's just incredible. If you haven't checked it out, even if you can't play because you don't have a PS4, watch a playthrough, a walkthrough, because goddamn, is the game not only beautiful, but the story is very, very gripping, and the combat is so much fun, and it looks so cool. Just do yourself a favor and check it out. Secondly, on a more, actually good news sort of thing, I got my university issues sorted out, and I'll finally be starting classes in August, fully online, because I cannot travel due to travel restrictions for COVID. But I have managed to not only think and choose the classes that I wanted to take, since I did it somewhat early, and I had spots for most, probably 95% of the classes that I wanted to take. But I've also gotten credits verified from my grades in high school, so it has been overall a pretty nice experience, and I'm glad it's finally over, so I can, finally chill out and not stress about having to sign up for my classes. Then, what are the good things that have happened to me? Oh, well, my family and I got a puppy in March called Pipa. You probably have already seen her from her Instagram and from her showing up on my Twitch streams. She's such a wonderful and heartwarming little pupper. She loves us very, very dearly. I know that for a fact, because whenever someone leaves the house, for example, I go work out and swim at the local pool here in my neighborhood, in my private neighborhood, closed off neighborhood, right? And my parents tell me that she whimpers because I'm gone, and the same thing happens when my brother goes off to his soccer classes, or my parents go, I don't know, my mom goes to buy food or something. It's just she's a very nice pupper, and she's a very wholesome pupper, and she loves head scratches and all of that. And it's just, she's brought a lot of laughter and love into my household, my life, so I really appreciate her. What else? Oh, that's also why I recommend adopting a pet of your own, even if it's not a pupper and it's a cat. No hate towards cats. I actually love cats as well. But pets can provide a lot of, stress relief and a lot of, happiness. Just their sheer presence enough can bring you happiness. So I recommend getting a pet during these awful times, because not only do you help them, but you help yourself. I also started this podcast during COVID, and it has helped me relax and unwind every week, almost providing a mental health check episode of my own, because I get to focus on something that I want and not only is it not, I do end up seeing, things that are somewhat stressing, like the things about, the past few episodes have not been necessarily all relaxing and super calming. I've had to do a lot of research for them, but also provides me a lot of perspective in a lot of things. So it's been a good set of stress relief and a hobby, and I definitely recommend starting your own podcast because it helps you just say your feelings and say whatever you want. So yeah. And finally, so like I said before, my main hobby is video games, and it's very exciting because we're about to start a new generation of consoles, which brings a big leap in technology and gameplay opportunities, because even though PC is for sure always at the top of, technological prowess and all of that, because we have consoles and that is the majority of game, playing, most developers sort of hold themselves to playable standards for consoles. So the fact that we're making another generation, leap means that not only are console games going to look better and work and be better and have more gameplay opportunities, but PC games will also be impacted as well. And it's just very hype, in my opinion. So finally, to end it all off, I'm going to give you some tips on how to stay mentally healthy that I try to follow. So firstly, don't look at your phone / social media the entire day. That's something I started doing at first because I felt very socially distanced from other people due to, social distancing, ironically enough. But social media can really bring down a person. Like, it is scientifically proven from multiple studies that I've read and from novels that books about, like, stuff like that about social media, that I know you'll have to take my word here because I don't have the links for those, but basically, when you are in social media, you usually tend to see the best of people and you take that as a baseline for people, and you end up comparing yourself to the best of the best instead of comparing yourself to reality, and you end up being in a lower state of mind and in a more, self-harming state of mind for yourself. So there are people out there also that are not being responsible and are meeting up with people outside of their social bubble, at like parties and things like that. And they put a lot of other people at risk with COVID and things like that. But all you see from social media is people hanging out physically together while you can't. And it might make you more frustrated. It might make you more angry. So try not to spend a lot of time on social media. Try to spend your time doing hobbies and things you love. And if you want to spend time on social media, use it for, talking with people. Use it to interact with people. If you see a family member or a friend posting a picture and something like that, leave a nice comment. Try to make their day a little bit better. Because at the end of the day, if their day is a little bit better, they might make your day a little bit better as well. Secondly, if you can, and you should in reality, try to set time aside for yourself, because you might have university classes on your day, or you just have your day job to do, but you have to have time set for yourself and your hobbies in order to keep you mentally sane. I've tried to, so I'm somewhat of a workaholic myself, right? And I've tried to keep myself extremely busy with doing courses and studying for and revising for when I start my university classes and all of those. I've tried applying for jobs. Like, I've tried to keep myself extremely busy with, things that are stereotypically, productive or things of the matter. And at the end of the day, that just created a much more stressful and much more unnecessarily toxic environment for me. So I'm doing my hobbies like streaming, content creation, starting the podcast, all of those things. They really help you keep yourself in check and not go insane, because leisure time is as important as work time. Work time gives you the money. Leisure time makes you happy, right? So try to, stay mentally sane. Do your hobbies. They're important as well. Speaking of hobbies, try to start new things or pick up old things you've done, right? Keeping you busy but not in the job sense, and connecting with old hobbies can make you feel a lot more calm. And even if you really want, you can just use that time to read a book, or trying to sleep more, because at the end of the day, it's time for yourself. Set time for yourself and use the time to not only appreciate yourself, but the things you do, because at the end of the day, they're as important as your day job or your university classes. Finally, talk to your loved ones and friends. Tell them you cherish them and appreciate them being in your life, because not only does it help you connect with other people and it might help you feel less socially distant, but if there's a chance you might make their day just a little bit better by telling them you love them, by telling them you care, why not do it? If all it takes is just 5 minutes out of your day to leave a little small comment on an Instagram post of your friend saying, "Oh dang, you look really good on that picture. I can't wait to see you again once COVID is over," type of thing, and it makes their day just a little bit better, makes them feel appreciated, then why not do it? Thank you so much for listening through today's episode. Remember to take care of yourself and the people around you. Remember that you're valued and you're important to a lot of people. Remember that you could write down things that you like doing and good things that have happened in the world in order to keep you mentally checked, in order to help you deal with the bad days. If you want some more random entertainment, if you want to have a little bit of leisure time, you can check out my stream, LucaTony where we play games and react to funny videos just to make our weeks a little bit better. And with all of that said, thank you for spacing out.